Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. In this lesson, we are going to revise again what we have studied in Unit 2 in algebra. So let's get started. If we have an equation like y equals 2x plus 1, I want to graph this equation or this relation between the two variables x and y. So we are going to take values for x, like when x equals 0, what is the value of y? If you know, you can participate. So Salma, if the value of x 0, what is the value of y? You will substitute x equals 0 in the equation. So y will be equal to 2 times 0 plus 1. So y equals 1. So the first ordered pair I have 0 and 1. We can take any value for x, like x equals 1. And some students get confused and say, how can we take a value for x? You know, any value for x, we can take it. So we can substitute any x. We can say that x equals 1 or x equals 2, x equals 3, x equals 4, stuff like that, any value. So for instance, if x equals 1, then the value of y will be 2 times 1 plus 1. So y equals 3. The second ordered pair I have 0 and 3. And we can take another value, like when x equals 2, for example, when x equals 2. So you will substitute in the equation y equals 2 times 2 plus 1. So y equals 5. So this ordered pair is 2 and 5. Then how can we graph on xy coordinate plane? Okay. Take values for x on the right values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is the positive direction of x-axis, and on the left -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and when we go up on y, you will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and when you go down, you will get -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and so on. Then plot the points you have. The first ordered pair you have, it's 0 and 1. So where is 0 and 1? 0 and 1 in this place, this point. Determine the coordinates 0 and 1. 0 and 1. And the second ordered pair is 2 and 5. Okay. And the third order pair, I said that x equals 1. So 1 and 3. The third order pair, it's 1, not 0. 1 and 3. So plot the points. So 2 and 5 go across x, across 2, and up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This point. Okay. 1 and 3, 1 and 3. And join up the 3 points. Okay. When you join up the 3 points, you will find that all points are linear. So we can graph the relation between the two variables. What the meaning of graph? To represent them graphically on xy coordinate plane. And we can find ordered pairs satisfy the relation. How many ordered pairs we can get? Actually, I can get an infinite number of ordered pairs. So we know now how can we graph any relation, what the meaning of graph to draw it or to represent it graphically. And also we have studied in this unit, how can we find the steepness or how can we find the slope? You know, the meaning of the slope, for each 1 unit on X, okay, you moved 1 on X, 1 unit on X. So you moved up to reach it to this point. Once again, what the meaning of the steepness? For every 1 unit on X, you should move 2 units on Y. Once again, for every 1 unit across X, you should move up 2 units on Y. So the gradient or the slope is 2. But actually, we don't follow this way in finding the slope. But we take 2 points, any 2 points on the line, like this point 1 and 3, and this point 2 and 5.
شايف الدراسة بتاعت الساعة ازاي؟
Okay, what do you want? Alia? Okay, Alia, how can we find the gradient or the slope of this straight line? Do you hear me? Salma, do you know how can
y2 minus y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
That's right. It's the change in y. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's right. So this is y2 and this is y1. So you are going to subtract 5 minus 3 over 2 minus 1. And 5 minus 3 equals 2 over 1. So the slope of this line equals 2. What is going to happen if I'm going to find the slope taking 2 different points? I want to find the slope of the line taking 2 different points. So this is the line, and we can take 2 points, 2 different points. Like this point, if we joined up this line again, you will find that the line will intersect or will pass across these points, will pass through these points. This point is -1 and -1. And this point satisfies the relation because this point on the straight line, and this point is -2 and -3. And this point, for instance, it's -3 and -5. So we started with X because the ordered pair X and Y. X firstly, then Y secondly. So I want to know how to tell me, Bishoy, how can we find the slope of this line by taking the 2 points? -2 and -3. This is the point. And I'm going to take -3 and -5. How can we find the slope? Shoy? Do you hear me?
هنعمل -3 -3 تاني. -5.
-3. This is X, Y, -5.
ايوه ما انا بقول over -2
over
-2 -3
over -2 minus
-3
So we have negative after negative.
positive.
So it will be positive. So -3 plus 5 over -2 and negative after negative, it will be positive. So -2 plus 3. -3 plus 5 equals what?
-2.
2 over, and -2 plus 3.
1.
1. So 2 over 1, it's going to
2.
be 2. So all I want to say that if you are going to take any points on the line, like this point and this point, you will find the slope all the time is 2. And why? If you are going to take any points on the line, you will find that the slope is 2 because all of these points are on the same line. All of these points are on the same line. So the slope of any, the slope, if you are going to take any 2 points, the slope all the time, always 2. Did you get it? I want from you now to help me in graphing x equals 5. How can we graph this relation? How can we find O that pairs satisfy this relation? You know, any O that the pair is X and Y, okay? So X firstly, then Y secondly. And there is no Y in this relation. So we are going to write for X 5 all the time. What about Y? Y, we can take any value for Y. So X is 5, X is 5. And what about
يا
Y?
مستر واي هناخدها أي رقم عشوائي يعني أي
Anything.
رقم
Yes.
زي إكس.
So we can write 1 for Y. We can write 2. We can write 3. We can write -4. We can write any value for Y because all we know in this relation that X equals 5. Okay. So what I know, it's fixed information. X equals 5. What about Y? Actually, I don't know what is Y. So on the XY coordinate plane, plot these points. Just on x-axis, you should know this is x-axis, and when we go up, it's y-axis. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the right, and on the left, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And when we go up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we go down, okay. So plot the points. The first O that pairs 5 and 1. So 5 and 1 in this place. It's 5, go across x5 and move up 1. 5 and 1. 5 and 2. It's 5 again on x and 2. And 5 and 3. 5 and 3. Okay, 5 and -4. 5 and -4. What do you notice? We observe that all these points are on the same straight line. Okay. So when we represent x equals 5, we will get a straight line. You know, this line is parallel to what? Parallel to what? X-axis or y-axis? This line is parallel to x-axis or parallel to y-axis?
Y-axis يا مستر.
Y-axis. So this line is parallel to y-axis. So I want to find the slope. Okay, Salma, how can we find the slope of this line? Just take any 2 points. Any 2 points on the line. Like what?
Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1.
So what about Y2 and Y1? Where are the points? The first point we can take, for instance, we can take 5 and 1. You know what? And we can take 5 and 3. And we can take 5 and 4, 5 and 5, stuff like that. So Salma, how can we find the slope?
هتكون 3 minus 1
3
over 5
1
minus 5.
5 minus 5. So 3 minus 1 equals what?
4. 2
over 0.
0.
So 2 over 0, we
Undefined.
undefined. So this is undefined. We couldn't find the slope of this line, and to be more accurate, the slope of this line is infinity, positive infinity, but we couldn't write it and we couldn't divide by 0. Okay, did you get it? Bishoy? Bishoy, do you hear me? Bishoy? Bishoy? So Bishoy is not here. So the slope of this line is undefined. I want to graph the relation y equal 3. How can we graph the relation y equal 3? You know y is constant and any ordered pair is written as x and y. X firstly and y secondly. So take any value for x, any value for x. And what about y? Y is 3. So write 1 and 3. Write 2 and 3. Write 3 and 3. Write 4 and 3. 5 and 3. Any value for x and y is constant all the time. Y is 3. So if you want to graph this relation on xy coordinate plane, write the values for x 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on the left -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and when we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and -1, -2, -3, -4 down. So 1 and 3, 1 on x and 3 on y. Move 1 unit on x and go up 3. 2 and 3. 3 and 3. 4 and 3. 5 and 3. What do you observe? We observe that all points are linear. And when we graph the relation y equals 3, we will get a straight line. This straight line is parallel to what, Alia? Parallel to what?
2x.
X-axis, that's right. Alia, how can we find the slope of this line?
Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1.
Great. So we are going to take any points, any 2 points like 1 and 3, and for instance, we can take 5 and 3. So apply the rule to find the slope.
3 minus 3.
3 minus 3, great, over
1 minus 5.
1 minus 5. So 3 minus 3 is going to be 0 over minus
0.
4. So at the end, what is the slope of this line?
0.
0. Any straight line parallel to x-axis, x slope equals what? 0. Okay?
0.
The slope of the line parallel to x-axis equals 0. So we now we can differentiate between the line which is parallel to x-axis, the slope of the line parallel to x-axis, very important to know, equals what? 0. Y-axis, undefined. Did you get it? So how can we prove that the points A, 1 and 1, B, 2 and 2, C, -3 and -3. I want to prove that A, B, and C are linear. What the meaning of linear? Linear means on the same straight line. So how can we prove that the points A, B, and C are collinear? You know, the points A, B, and C will be collinear if the slope of AB is equal to the slope of BC. So if the slope of AB, you're going to find the slope of AB, and at the moment you'll find the slope of BC. And if the slope of AB is equal to the slope of BC, then the points A, B, and C are linear. So how can we find the slope of AB? Alia, find the slope of AB.
AB
Yes.
هيبقى negative 2 minus 1
2 minus 1, great, over.
over 2 minus 1 برضه.
Yes, so it's 1 over 1. The slope
1
is
over 1.
Salma, find the slope of BC. Salma, find the slope of BC.
2 minus negative 3
2
over
minus negative 3, right? Over.
over 2 over
Minus.
2 plus negative 3.
It's minus negative 3. Minus,
Sorry.
minus. So negative after negative positive, so it's 2 plus 3, 5 over 2 plus 3, 5. So 5 over 5 equals what? 1.
1.
So the slope of AB is 1 and the slope of BC 1. So now we can say that because slope of AB equals the slope of BC, then A, B, and C are collinear. I want from you now to try this one. Prove in your copybook, prove that the points A, B, and C are collinear. A, 4 and negative 3. B, negative 6 and 7. C, 5 and negative 4. Prove that the points A, B, and C are collinear. Try it now. And I'm going to ask you, Alia, how can you prove that the points A, B, and C are collinear? Tell me what is the idea?
هنشوف الأسلوب بتاع A هو المفروض يكون الأسلوب بتاع BC.
So you will find the slope of AB.
AB.
Okay. So find the slope of AB. That's right.
7 minus negative 3.
7 minus negative 3.
تمام. هيبقى over negative 6 minus 4.
Negative 6 minus 4. That's right. Negative after negative. Positive.
Positive.
So it's 10 over negative 6 minus 4, it's negative 10. It's going to be minus 1. Okay, well done, Alia. Salma, find the slope of BC. Salma?
7 minus negative 4 over negative 6 minus 5.
Negative 6 minus 5. So 7 minus negative 4, it will be 7 plus 4 over negative 6 minus 5, negative 11. So it's 11 over negative 11 equals what?
11 over negative 11, 0.
Minus 1.
Negative 1.
So now we proved that the slope of AB is equal to the slope of BC. It's equals, it equal to, it is equal to -1, and this one equals -1. So A, B, and C are collinear. Try this one now. Find the value of y such that the points 4 and 1, -2 and 7, 3 and y are collinear. How can we find y? Tell me what is the idea. I want to find y. How can we find
مستر احنا ممكن نعملهم divided over بعض نرجعهم تاني زي الأول قبل ما نعمل لهم slope.
like what?
ثانية معلش.
You know, Alia, that the points, the 3 points are collinear. What the meaning of collinear? On the same line. The 3 points are collinear on the same line. The first point I have, it's 4 and 1. The second point I have, it's -2 and 7. And the third point, it's 3 and y. We can call it ABC. So, you know the idea in this case, to find y, just to find the slope of AB. So, how can we find the slope of AB? As I said, it's y minus y over x minus x. So, slope of AB will be 7 minus 1, okay, over -2 minus 4. And 7 minus 1, it will be 6 over -6 equals -1. Okay? And the slope of BC, Ali, how can we find the slope of BC?
تمام هنعمل 7 minus y.
That's right. And also we can say y minus 7.
Okay. Over
Yes?
3 minus -2.
3 minus -2. So it's y minus 7 over 5.
5.
And because they are linear, so the slope of AB is equal to the slope of BC because they are collinear. So we're going to write y minus 7 over 5.
y هتبقى equal to يا مستر؟
2, that's right. Y equals 2. Y minus 7 over 5 equals -1. You know -1, it's -1 over 1. And do cross multiplying. Y minus 7 times 1, it will be y minus 7 equals 5 times -1, it's -5. Then move -7 to the next side. Y equals -5 plus 7, then y equals 2. Well done, Alia. Great. Salma, did you get it? Try this now. I want to prove this triangle, or FA, let's take this one. A, it's -1 and 4. And B, x and 2. And slope of AB equals -2. Find x. Salma, how can we find x? How can we find x, Salma? You know, the slope is -2.
ماشي.
So you will say
السلوب
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals what? -2.
2 -2.
So what we are going to write again? We're going to write y2. This is y2
y2
minus
minus
y1
y1. Yeah, 4
over
minus
x2
4 minus
x1 equals what? -2. Okay. So 2 minus 4 over x minus -1 equals what? -2. And 2 minus -4, it's -2 over x plus 1 equals -2. Okay? Salma, do you hear me? -2 is considered -2 over 1. And to find x plus 1, you will do cross multiplying. -2 times 1 over -2. So x plus 1 equals -2 times 1, -2 divided by -2, it's 1. Okay? And move 1 to the next side, so x equals 1 minus 1, x equals what? 0. Did you get it? Alia?
دي انا مش فاهمها دي، مصر عيدها تاني.
Shoy? Okay. What is given for us, Shoy, in this example? I have the slope. The slope is -2. The slope is -2. Okay? And I'm
Tamam.
asking you now, how can you find the slope? y2 minus y1
y2 plus y1 over x 2
x2
minus x1.
as I did here, 2 minus 4 over x minus -1 equals what? Negative.
-2.
So 2 minus 4 equals -2
ايوه.
over negative after negative will be positive.
Positive.
So it's x plus 1. So how can we find x plus 1? Do cross multiplying. Multiply -2 times 1 over 2. Okay?
Okay.
So x plus 1 equals 1.
1.
Move 1 to the next side, 1 minus 1, then x equals what? 0.
0. تمام. شكرا يا مستر.
العفو. Should pay attention to this one. I want to find this line y equals 2x plus 1. This line cuts or intersects we can say intersects, we can say cuts, and we can say intercepts. Y-axis at what? You know, any point in a straight line, when we graph in a straight line, like this line, okay? This line is going to cut x-axis. Any line, show you? Pay attention. This line cuts y-axis and x-axis. Any straight line cuts y-axis at the point 0 and y. Any point on y-axis is 0 and y. We know it's x all the time 0 because 0 and 1, 0 and 2, 0 and 3, 0 and 4, 0 and 5. So this line cuts y-axis, put x equals 0. So y equals what? 2 times 0 plus 1. So y equals 1. So this line intersects y-axis at the point 0 and 1. Did you get it? All of you, did you get
لا.
it?
لا يا مستر أنا مش فاهماها.
Put x equals 0 in the line, in the equation. When we are going to put x equals 0, you will find that y equals what?